Hi everyone, I hope I'm live and you can hear me. This is the first time I'm doing it, so I'm not very good with technology in that sense. I think I can see someone there. So basically, I wanted to give you my experience in working with Cynthia, my intention being that it helps those of you for whom it's the right next step on their path to make the decision. I'll say a few words about myself just to set up the scene, so to say, where I was when I started working with Cynthia, and then essentially explain what it's done for me so far. And that's been about 5-6 months of my working with Cynthia. I'm Russian, was born in Russia in Moscow, and I then moved to this country, which country being London, UK, where I live now, and in my early 20s. And I always had these two very different sides to my personality. On the one hand, I was always very analytical. I studied physics in Moscow, I then did finance in London, and I'm working now in the asset management industry. All very analytical, numbers-based, patterns in the markets, this is kind of my stuff. At the same time, I always had this other side, which was longing for deeper spiritual meaning, for understanding people, how things work in life, for understanding why is it that I sometimes saw dreams that would come true, or I would know things before they happen, just genuinely understanding how people function, how this whole world functions. And so on this search, I did a lot of things. I worked with a lot of different coaches, very high level. For example, I worked with Tony Robbins, I worked with Bob Proctor, I did a lot of programs, and a number of other people. And each and every one of them did contribute to my growth. With Cynthia was introduced to me by a friend, my dear friend Raven, at the time when I had no intention of joining the program, because I basically just started doing the program with another coach on the mindset for building my ideal body. I was very happy with that program. I didn't want to be doing yet another program and paying again at the same time, and always being busy. So I had no intention of joining, generally speaking, but it was one of those situations that I got interested in the syllabus, which to me was a combination of so many different things that I studied in my different endeavors, and I'll explain a bit more. And anyway, so long story short, I did join. And yes, I knew why I had to join, because it blown away completely my expectations for the program. Realistically, all I wanted was to just get into a sound meditation practice, because everyone I worked with, all my coaches and mentors, kept telling me how I must have it because my brain's like that. I think too fast, I think too much, I'm too much in my head. And my husband kept telling me that you're so tensed and you need to relax more and you need to sort of be more present and mindful. And I did all of that. I did a mindfulness program. I studied meditation a lot, actually, and energy healing work in the School of Intuition and Healing, it's called. It's a UK school. Graduated with honors from the school. I can do energy healing, which is essentially what you guys call Reiki. So I thought I knew all of these things, but somehow it never really, I never got myself into a routine. And so the idea of doing meditation was almost like this annoying thing that I kind of knew I had to do, but I didn't want to do it, and I always felt that I was too busy. I didn't have time. So what did I get? Actually, no, first I'll tell you what I think differentiates Cynthia from a lot of people that I worked with. A number of points. So firstly, I think she's a very unique combination of really kind of opposing qualities. On the one hand, she's very, very spiritual. She's deeply connected. She deeply senses these things, and she obviously has amazing intuitive abilities, psychic abilities. She has all of these things. And yet she's very businesslike. Not businesslike, she is very, she's basically a business person. And the program, which every time I watch a session, I admire it, because there's logic, there's consistency, and it's like in your business or in your job. If you work with professionals, when people show up and you know that you know what you can expect from them, and you know that they surpass your expectations every time. That's what she has. So there's no kind of wishy-washy about things. It's all structural, it's all logical, and you always get the sense that she teaches you only almost like the surface of the iceberg, because you feel that there's so much more depth behind it, and then she brings it up more and more and more as she continues the sessions. So that is one thing. Number two is she is genuine, as genuine as can be. So whatever she's teaching, she's actually lives. It's not a theory for her, it is her life. And I think just having a person like this in your life, it's so it is motivating, it is inspiring, and it is kind of empowering. What else? Yes, I love the way she explains things, because some of this is not very easy, and some of it I heard explained by different people, and it never necessarily, it didn't land the same way, because she has this way of using metaphors, and they're really visual. You see this as a picture, and they really stick with you. So next time you sort of start doing something or feeling a certain way of thinking, this metaphor goes bang, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I remember. So it's really impactful, because ultimately what you want is for your life to change, I assume, because that's the reason we want to do meditation and to connect to our inner self, etc., because we want to have a better life. Otherwise there's no point doing any of this stuff. Energy, amazing energy. I'm an intuitive person myself. I feel energy, and every single time, as I said, what amazes me most is how consistent she is, because normally with people you get ups and downs. People have high energy, lower energy. She doesn't. She's just always positive, she's always full of energy, and she's light. It's a really, really nice, it's just nice to be around her. Yes, so as you probably know if you've been watching her workshops, Cynthia does her own meditation systems. It obviously is based on a lot of things that most of them would share, but it genuinely is a unique system. And having tried a number of them before, I was completely amazed. The first time I did it, everything was different. I went so much higher, further. It's like I had self-healing happening, my energy was rebalancing. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, seriously? And I studied with people who are very known in this country, in this energy, chakras, and whatever have you work. So yeah, I thought I knew all about it, and but completely blown me away. So what else? Yes, in terms of the practical, because when I look back, and it's funny because you kind of notice as you leave, thinking, oh yeah, that's changed, or someone tells you, because otherwise you focus on the day by day, you don't notice, but so much changed. Yes, obviously I have a meditation practice now. It was so easy. I mean, I couldn't believe this. I tried it so many times, and this one is easy. And the reason it's easy is because you get so much pleasure out of it, and you see the results so quickly that you want to do it. It's not difficult. I don't have to make myself do it. It's just, if I feel tired, if I feel I'm out of the flow, if I feel like my mood's not as it should be or something, I just immediately go, oh yeah, okay, I just need to go and meditate. And it all kind of rearranges. That's one thing. One of the things I wanted as well from the program, I wanted to have my mind more focused, because I'm doing a lot of things. I'm very busy. I have sort of demanding, I guess, position in the asset management industry. I'm writing a professional book. I have a family. I do all sorts of, trainings, coaching, all sorts of stuff. And time was always an issue for me, and the ability to be able to focus and stay with the subject. And the book that I was writing, it's a complicated, I guess, subject of risk. It was one of the reasons actually I didn't want to do the program with Cynthia, because I kept thinking I need to focus on the book. Why would I be doing another program when it would be taking up time? And it was weird, because actually it changed everything, because I could so easily just do it every day without having to push myself, or one day I feel like it, the other day it's just hard to find time. Consistency, ease, and staying in the flow, and these days whenever I get a writer block, so I'm writing and suddenly it's just it's not going, I'd get up, go upstairs, thankfully working from home at the moment, and just do my meditation. And then I come back, and I know that even if I have less time, I'll actually do much more, because I'm in the flow, I'm channeling, it's just perfect. Yes, in terms of being more relaxed, etc., that happened very quickly. My family was commenting. And funny enough, my boss in the performance review was mentioning how much I've changed. He obviously doesn't know about the program, and he was saying, you were always so intense, but now you're just so chilled and relaxed. And I was thinking, really? Wow. So that was nice. Oh yes, and the other thing I found quite fascinating, it just suddenly, because my kind of issue for life has always been, I always felt that I don't quite have enough energy to do all I want to do, and I don't have enough time to do all I want to do. And somehow those both things changed, because number one, my energy, I don't need as much sleep. So I now sleep less, but naturally I just wake up earlier or I go to bed later because I'm not tired. And the energy became very, very stable. I used to have maybe 3-4 o'clock sort of crash, but I don't have that anymore. So more energy, and the time, that's the thing that I still cannot understand, because at the moment I'm doing more than I've ever done in my life, like in terms of different, sorry, I'm removing the text message, different arrangements, how much I'm actually getting done, what I'm producing, the quality of stuff I do at work, everything. And yet, for the first time in my life, I have time to actually play a family game with my family without looking at the watch and thinking, bother, I don't have the time, or even watch a silly movie. My daughter commented recently, she said, Mama, you used to never watch this stuff with us. I said, yeah, I know, because it's silly. She said, I know, you used to say it's a silly movie and you don't have time for that. And I was thinking, yeah, I used to say that. But now somehow it all fits in, and that I still actually haven't figured out how that is possible. Maybe it's just efficiency improved or something, but I literally feel as if time is plastic and it's just expanded to incorporate what I wanted. Right, let me check what else I had as a point to make sure I've done Cynthia the justice I wanted to do her. Oh yes, of course, very big thing, and that is a big thing, as I'm sure you know in Cynthia's teaching, is to reconnecting with your true self, what Cynthia calls your feminine beast. I find that I've made huge progress there. I do not think I'm there, so I don't think I'm 100% her or even know her 100%, but it's huge, because this is a bit more difficult to quantify in terms of, I've written more, I've done more, I've said more. It's not quite like that, but you catch yourself much more often when you realize, what is it I'm thinking? Is that really me? And you go, no, and then no, so you're not going to make that choice. So you kind of naturally, that's what I love so much as well, because it's all kind of natural and effortless, but you realign with your true self and you naturally start making different choices. So you're not using your will factor, you're not pushing yourself, it just happens naturally. And therefore, and then the results sort of follow. Like financial stuff, I had the biggest, we had a very difficult year in my industry and in my company, and I had the biggest bonus and package that I've ever had at the same time when pretty much everyone got a cut. So things like that, it all follows through naturally again. And yes, and so that ability to hear yourself, to understand the guidance, I've always had a lot of intuitive stuff, but I used to miss a lot of them, or maybe not trust, and so not necessarily follow through. So that again, kind of, it became easy, because you just hear it so much more louder, and you don't question it, you don't doubt, you just do it. And yes, and the last thing, again, I would have never thought that would matter to me, because I've never even had an account on Facebook, essentially, until I started this, but I'm loving the private face group. And when I started, then Cynthia has this accountability policy when she would put questions and people would comment, and I would not, because, I wasn't used to looking at this stuff. And then Cynthia would chase me, and I remember saying to Raven, like, for goodness sake, why do we have to reply to these messages every day? It's like I'm not in the nursery anymore. And until I realized very quickly, actually, that she knows what she's doing, so that's for sure. But also, the funny thing is, I really got to really, really appreciate it. The quality of people on this course is really, really high. Very different spread in terms of business backgrounds that people come, ages and everything, and that's why it's so interesting. But there is that certain quality. It's like there's not a single person that I wouldn't say, yeah, that's an interesting person, and if I was living in the same country with them, if I could, I would meet up with them and had a conversation. Not one. So I think that's really rare. So my point to you is, I don't know what you guys want. Obviously you want to do meditation, but I imagine you all have different end goals. The point I want to make is that it seems that it satisfies us like the whole spectrum of different goals, which I guess makes sense, because if you reconnect to your true nature and you're able to hear the guidance and to kind of put all your mental, spiritual energy bodies in the right place, then things will follow. It doesn't matter which layer, I guess, they're on. So that's all I wanted to tell you, and if you have any questions that you want me to answer, you can always text me on Facebook. Okay, thank you, bye.